Welcome back to the Crochet Karate. So it's my friends over at yarnspirations.com. Today we have a 3-part series and each one of the parts is a different snowflake. So depending on the thumbnail that you saw is the one that we're gonna be focusing on today. So you can see that together they make a trio set and they're absolutely fantastic. Now the one in the middle actually kind of scared me when I looked at it, 'cause I'm like, am I capable of doing that? And the fact is that all of these are really quite easy to follow, and I've tried my best to be able to show you that as well. Just for tutorial reasons, I am going to use Karen 1 pound, and I'm also going to be using a 4mm size G6 crochet hook in order to play. This is using recommending Aunt Lydia's crochet thread with a 1.4mm size US 8 crochet hook, so really quite small and delicate. Now when you see mine, you're gonna see that it's really quite big. So let me just show you one of the examples here, and this is kind of what we're gonna get into today. So you can see that when you use Karen 1 pound, it's gonna be a lot bigger than you may imagine, and that's what we're gonna be getting into today. So without further ado, let's jump to the actual project that you're going to be working on today. That was in the thumbnail. Let's begin that next. Today we're going to be focusing on the beautiful Lacy snowflake ornament, and as I said in the intro, we're going to be using a Karen 1 pound yarn with a 4mm size G6. This is actually using crochet thread, and there is a hardening formula that you can use, some 50% Epsom salts, 50% water, bring that to a boil and then let it cool down, and then just dip in your flakes and then lay them down to harden them up. So this is actually not a hard idea. There's some instructions. There's a triple picot, which I'll explain, and then there's a 3 treble cluster, which I'll explain. Those are really big words, but once you see it done, it's really quite fun. Let me take you to the sample, and let me just break it down even further so that it takes some of the fear away. So here's what the snowflake looks like, and remember that it's all these snowflakes that here are in parts of 6. So when you look at it, think about it like a piece of the pie. So you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The difference that you have to pay attention to is that there is a loop, and so where you apply the loop, you can choose any one that you're gonna do. I'm gonna do it the second petal in once I get there, just to show you that, but you can do it at the very end if you wish. I'd recommend not doing it the very first one that you're gonna start. So the triple picot is what we're seeing on the tops here. These are the 3 points. Really easy to remember once you get there, and overall I didn't find this hard. So you're seeing it's laying nice and flat. It wasn't always like that, so I've steamed these in order to have them flat, but I have not hardened them, as you can tell. So you can see the backs look amazing, and because I've steamed them down, they've had their shape. So if you want to make a centerpiece without the loophole, you can do that as well. So that's completely up to you. So without further ado, let's get started. To begin, we're going to create a slip knot and insert your hook. This is considered intermediate level, all of the sizes that we have for these ones. So what we're going to do is that we are just going to chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now insert the hook into the beginning chain, and then yarning over and pulling it through, and you have the center ring. So the very first time you go around the center ring, put that straggler around there so that it gets stuck up underneath the stitches, so you don't have to sew it in later. Let's begin round number 1, and chain 1 in this particular pattern does not count as a stitch. Usually it never does anyway, but they're saying that. So we're gonna chain 1, and in the center of this ring we need to put 12 single crochets, and it's gonna be really tight, my friends. So just bear with us and let's go. So let's count those up together. So we have 1 single, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and I've run out of space. So because this is around the ring, just yank on it and pull it to expose more ring. So I have 10 done, so I have more ring to play with now. So then 11 and 12. So when we go to slip stitch, we have to go to the 12th one back. So the easiest way to, I do even as an experienced crocheter, is that I count back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And the 12th one I'm just gonna verify again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So the 12th one back is the one that we're going to slip stitch to, and that's good. If you've gone over top of the center strand, I would recommend getting that out of your way now permanently. Just trim it and you're good to go. And now let's move on to round number 2. So we're gonna move on to round number 2, and this is kind of unusual for crochet, but just bear with us. It's all of these particular examples have it, and it works out. So you're gonna chain 3, and this is going to count as 1 double crochet and chain 1 space. Usually it's always chain 4, but this time it's only chain 3. So that is considered 1 double crochet and a chain 1 space. Coming into the next single crochet, I want you to double crochet and then chain 1 and go to the next single crochet, double crochet and chain 1. Please do that all the way around. This is round number 2. Once you get what appears to be your 12 spokes, so the first chain that you started with is 1, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. Make sure you do chain 1 and then just join it to the second chain up of the beginning chain 3 and pull it nice and tight. It feels wrong on every level possible as an experienced crocheter, but it does work out, so just bear with it. So let's move on to round number 3. So let's begin round number 3. We're going to slip stitch to the next chain 1 space. So slip over and then chain 2. That counts as your first double crochet. As an experienced crocheter, I know what you're thinking. Just go with it. It does work out. So then double crochet into the same one. Now this is going to create a point, so you need to chain 3 and then in the same space double crochet 2 more times. And here comes the repeat for the remaining. So you're going to chain 3, so 1, 2, 3, and this is going to allow you to skip over the next space and go to the second one over and put in another corner. So the corners will be 2 double crochet, chain 3 and 2 double crochet, and then after you're done that just chain 3, so 1, 2, 3 and skip the next space and go to the one after that and do the same thing. So please do that all the way around. This is round number 3. Once you come all the way around, you're going to chain 3 and then slip stitch it to the chain 2 that you started with. So you should see happening here what appears to be a hexagon. So a flat edge, flat, flat and flat. Let's continue now to round number 4. So let's begin round number 4. We're gonna slip stitch to the next chain 3 space, which is at the very corner. So let's just slip over twice. So over the top of the next double crochet and into the space. We're gonna chain 3 and in this case it will count as a treble, and then we're going to treble one more time into that space. Just like you see. You're going to chain 3, so 1, 2, 3 and treble 2 more times into that same space. Okay, so you're expanding out on the corners. You're gonna chain 3, so 1, 2, 3 and single crochet into this chain 3 space that is separating the corners. So down here and then chain 3, 1, 2, 3 and then do the next corner. So it's 2 trebles and then chain 3, so 1, 2, 3 and 2 trebles. So do you remember what you need to do to expand on this? You're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet into the chain 3 that separates the corners, and then 1, 2, 3 and then start another corner. So please do this all the way around for round number 4. As you come back around, you make sure you do chain 3 from the last single crochet that's there and then just join it to the beginning chain 3. So you should have what appears to be 6 sides. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to take you to the sample to review, and the outside one here is really not that hard. It's just a matter once you get it, you get it. So let's go to the sample first. So I'm gonna start you off in a section here. We're going to create what appears to be this, and this has the picots in it. So I want you to think about the picots as a fleur-de-lis. So a fleur-de-lis has 3. So there's chain 4, chain 5 and chain 4, and if you can remember that, it's easy. These here are being built on the way up to making this, and being built on the way down from making this as you're coming back down, and then we just are going to fill in the spaces. So the spaces are an easy one to go. Eventually we're going to have to make this loop, so you can make the loop at any time. So I'd recommend doing at least the first one first, and then you can insert the loop anywhere you want, and then we're gonna do it on the top of the second one as we do it, and then we're gonna work our way down. So the only thing that we're not gonna do on the top one here is that we're not gonna create the fleur-de-lis look, and we're just gonna go right for a loop, and then the next time we'll back to the fleur-de-lis. So I'm gonna show you both ways. The spacing in between is really easy to remember, so overall it's not a hard pattern to be able to follow, and this will be our final round, round number 5. So let's start our first point. We're gonna slip stitch ourselves to the first chain 3 space in the very corner. And now let's take our time. So watch how we're gonna go up. So we need to come up and back down. So we're going to then create a picot on the way up. And how we're gonna do that is that I want you to chain 5. So just chain 1, right? And then chain 2 and pinch it, and 3, 4, and 5. And right where I had you pinch it is where you're going to insert the hook in right into the chain, and then yarning over, pulling it through and through, and you just create a little nebbly thing, a little picot. Now we're gonna create a 3 treble cluster right in the middle here. So a 3 treble cluster, watch what we're going to do is that we're gonna wrap the hook twice and come right into the chain 3 space, and come in through and pull through, and pull through 2 and 2 and hold it. And we're gonna do that 2 more times. So wrap in the hook and in, pull through 2 and 2 and hold it, and then wrap twice and then in and pull through 2 and 2 and hold. So now you have 4 loops here on the top of the hook. So yarn over, pull through all 4. We're now going to create what appears to be is that fleur-de-lis, and it's really easy to do that. So it's called the triple picot, and how we're going to do it is that we're going to focus, see how they're all coming together like that? That's where we're gonna focus coming back into. So I need you to chain 4 the first time. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and insert your hook in behind that grouping there. So like in behind, into the stitch, and then yarning over, pulling it through and through. So there's one part. So now we're gonna chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and insert again into that same section, and pulling it through and through. Then chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then coming back into that same section again. Okay, so the fleur-de-lis look is consisting of chain 4, chain 5, chain 4. Okay, so just think of it from that point of view. We're now going to work our way going down this particular idea. So we're gonna work our way back to this space down here. So how we're going to do that is that we are going to chain 5 again. So 1, 2, pinch, 3, 4, 5, and then insert your hook into the second one where you pinched it, and then yarning over and pulling it through, and then chain 1, and you're going to come down, and you are going to then slip stitch it to the same chain 3. And what that is doing is it's creating an up. Okay, you did your fleur-de-lis and then coming back down. Now you're going to just single crochet into the next 2 trebles, 1 and 2, and into this chain 3 spacing that you're gonna have here. It's really quite easy to remember that. So all you're just going to do then is that you are going to then just single crochet twice. So 1 and 2, just like that, and now you're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then insert. This is a picot, so insert in, and then yarning over, pulling it through and through, and then in the same space double or single crochet 2 more times. So the spaces here have 2 single crochets, a picot, and then 2 single crochets. So let's start the next one. So one petal is halfway done, so we just gotta finish this one when we get back there. So here's the next space. So 2 single crochets first, 1 and 2, and then chain 3 to picot. So 1, 2, 3, and then picot, and then 2 single crochets. So 1 and 2. Now you are going to just come up here and just single crochet in the next 2 trebles, and then you are going to come to the space. You're going to slip stitch to the chain 3 space and then begin. So we have to work our way up. Do you remember what to do? So you have to chain 5. So go 1, 2, pinch, 3, 4, 5, and then right where you pinched you're just going to come in and insert the hook in, and then yarning over, pulling it through and through. Then you remember how to do those treble clusters. So there's 3 of them. So wrap the hook twice and coming into the chain 3 space, pull through 2 and 2 and hold it. And wrap twice. You're gonna do this 3 times. And once you've done it 3 times, you'll have 4 loops on the hook. Pull through all 4. So here's what we're going to do. If you need to create a loop, okay, so last time we did these, but this time we're gonna create a loop. So if we need to create a loop, here's what we're going to do. We're going to chain 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and slip stitch it to where you had started. So just coming in like a picot and pull it around, and this will create a loop, but we're not done. Turn the snowflake upside down and start on the loop. Okay, so just insert into the loop, slip stitch it, chain 1 and single crochet 11 times into that. So 1, and it's gonna get tight, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and it's around there, so you can just move stuff if you have to, and 11, and then slip stitch it to where the beginning is, and then turn the project over to then begin. Okay, so just there we go. So I'm just gonna grab it, and now we're gonna work our way back down. So to do that, you remember what to do. You gotta chain 5. So 1, 2, pinch, 3, 4, 5, and move your thumb and do your picot, and because you're coming down, you're gonna chain 1 and slip stitch it to the chain 3 space. Okay, so now you've gone up and you have your loop on this particular one. So I'm going to take you through one more side here. So we're gonna single crochet in the next 2 trebles. So 1 and 2, and in the chain 3 space we're gonna single crochet twice and then do a picot that consists of 3. So 1, 2, 3, slip stitch for the picot, and then just 2 more double crochets or 2 more single crochets there, and then come to the next space. So 2 singles, 1 and 2, and do your picot, and then 2 single crochets. So this one here, the loop was only on the one part. So what we're gonna do then is that we're just gonna treat it as normal. So 1 single in each of the 2 trebles, and then slip stitch it to the chain 3. Now begin to go up. So 1, 2, pinch, 3, 4, 5, move your thumb and do your picot with that, and then it's 3 treble clusters, a 3 treble cluster. And once you have your 4 loops, pull through all 4. So we're gonna create that fleur-de-lis look. So you're gonna start with the first one. So chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and slip under and grab it. So that was 1, and then you're gonna chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and slip, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's the other side, and then slip, and now you're gonna work your way down. So chain 5. So 1 and 2, pinch, 3, 4, 5, move your thumb, do your picot, chain 1, and slip stitch to the chain 3. It's a lot, but that's how it's done, just like that. Okay, so then once you're hardening these things up, you just position everything, and therefore you have your loop and etc. And I'm going to finish this one here on camera just because I want to. So I'll see you in just a moment. I'll be right back. When you get all the way back around, remember that you have these the space and the 2 2 trebles to worry about. So make sure you already know what to do. You just got to do it and to get back to where you started. So I'm just doing my 2 singles, my picot, and 2 singles, and then it's 1 single in the last 2 trebles, and then I'm going to join it to the beginning one that I started with. So I'm just gonna join it right to the slip stitch to complete. Now I want to get rid of this thing here, so I can use the steamer to steam this thing down so that I can use it as a centerpiece if I didn't wanna, if I left off that loop if I wanted to. To harden it up there is a formula on the pattern to do that, so you can apply that if you want to, and then it will stay stiff on you. And it's kind of a really neat idea. I like the idea of decorations like this because you kind of forget that you do it in time, and when you pull it out of your box next year you'll say, oh, I remember I did that. And so there's kind of a nostalgic feel, and if you do it in the right yarns and you know, have a really nice look, then it becomes almost an heirloom. You know, people might want to hang on to it for a lifetime or pass it on. So just weaving the yarn in and out in the back, and then this is good to go. So this here is the beautiful Lacy Snowflake. It just needs to be steamed in order to sit flat, and it's a really neat idea. Now if I was using thread it would obviously be much smaller than this, but and then if you steam it, it will stay nice and flat as well. And then hardening it, you can do that too. So that's it for now. Have a good one, and we have 2 others in this series to enjoy. Have a good one. Bye.